going on, everybody? Welcome back to the vault. My name is Money, and today we are going to be looking at my top 10 most valuable pops in my Funko Pop collection. Now, I really don't pay too much attention to value because I feel like if I do that, then I start only collecting certain things rather than what I like. So when I get something new, I kind of put it into the Funko app and then I forget about it. So looking at my list on my Funko app, I couldn't believe some of these values on some of this stuff. So I can't wait to get into this. I have a couple runners up because some of the prices were so tight. But overall, we're going to be looking at my top 10 most valuable pops, and nothing on this list is worth less than $120. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. It helps the channel grow and it makes me make more content for you all watching at home. So without any further ado, let's do two runner-ups super quick. So the first runner-up we have is a pop that has been fluctuating in price a lot, which is why I wanted to kind of use it as a runner-up, but not firmly say it's worth X. Here we have the FYE exclusive Shaggy and Scooby-Doo 2-pack, and right now this thing is valued at $140. Now, about a week ago, this was valued at $250 on the Funko app. So the price is really fluctuating quite a bit, and I think it's kind of jumping because Scooby-Doo pops are becoming increasingly harder to find. So I think it's selling for $300, then it's selling for $150, and then it's selling for $250. It's kind of really trying to settle down into what it's going to be. Personally, I'm going to put this thing at around $150 once the price stops fluctuating. But right now, the Funko app has it at $140, so that's what we're going to say it is. Over the last few years, I have been involved in a group called the Funko Collectors Society, which is a group of collectors that I helped lead. But I was lucky to receive this as a part of our yearly Secret Santa that we did with our members, where we set a price limit and then everybody would send one random member a gift. My Secret Santa was Saul's Pop Room, and this is what they sent me as a part of last year's Secret Santa. So again, Saul, thank you so much for this awesome hookup, and it went to a great home. And even though it's worth $140 now, it is now in its forever home. Now, this one, I am like speechless. I don't believe it. I thought the Funko app was goofed up. And then I did some research and I was like, oh, damn, it's actually worth that much money. The second runner-up and the last runner-up is the box lunch exclusive Blue Eyes White Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! And this thing is also worth $140. What is going on? This was a part of a box lunch exclusive Pop and Tea bundle, and I got this on clearance for like $20 back when it was in stock on Box Lunch's website, and I didn't think anything of the value, so I don't understand why this is going for so much money. I don't know if maybe this is a precursor to the rest of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wave going to be going up in price sometime soon, but I mean, this pop is great, don't get me wrong. I just don't understand why it's worth so much money. Coming in at number 10 on my top 10 list, we have the Emerald City Comic Con Diamond Vaporeon with the con sticker. So this was probably, I guess, one of the sleepers of this convention, although it did sell out very quickly. This thing hovered around $30 to $40 for a while, and then all of a sudden it started going up in price. I think that this price inflated a lot because of the WonderCon exclusive Flareon and Jolteon, and then everybody said, oh, these look great, I may as well get the Vaporeon as well. Now, my Vaporeon does have the con sticker because my entire Pokemon set has all con stickers on it for the exclusives, so the shared sticker is currently hovering at around $80 to $90, while this con sticker Diamond Vaporeon is worth $140, and I was lucky enough to win the Emerald City Lottery this year, so I was able to get this thing for retail. So for number 9 on my top 10 list, we actually have a tie between two separate items. Coming in at 9A on my top 10 list, we have the New York Comic Con exclusive Cabbage Man and his cabbage cart from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I mean, mine's dusty because it's just been sitting on, I mean, look how dusty this thing is. It's just been sitting. There's a lot of argument in the community about what's going to retain value, which items are going to be grails sometime in the future. And I mean, this item was on clearance at GameStop for months after New York Comic Con. I kicked myself for picking this thing up at retail because you could have gotten it for $10 after the fact. And now here we are having this come in at number 9. It's a little looser there. Having this come in at number 9 on my top 10 list with a value of $160. 9B on my top 10 list goes to an item that was released last year, and that is the Funko Shop exclusive Johnny Bravo. Now, this was one that I did not get my hands on when it first came out. This was launched last spring, and it was bundled with, and it launched the same time as Dexter from Dexter's Lab. So I was able to get Dexter, but Johnny sold out in my cart. And the only way that I was able to get this was by going to the secondary market. I actually accidentally ordered 2 Krakens, which are a part of the Pop Myths line, and I didn't want to cancel the order because I was getting one of the Krakens for one of my friends who collects Pop Myths. So I just sucked it up and got the 2 of them and said, oh, I'll just use this as trade bait or just sell it off or something. Turns out I found somebody on Reddit who missed the Kraken, got Johnny Bravo and didn't want it, and him and I just did a 1-for-1 trade, Johnny Bravo for the Kraken. Okay, so the 6-inch Kraken is currently going for $60 on the Funko app, which is about, it retailed for what, $25? So that's a pretty good markup, about double the money. I imagine that with there being rumors of a Johnny Bravo coming out where he has the mirror in the comb, this one is definitely going to go up in value because people are going to want a, quote, complete Johnny Bravo set. I think I really only need 1 Johnny Bravo, and I'm totally okay with the one that I have. So coming in at number 9B on my top 10 list is Johnny Bravo from the Funko shop with a value of $160. So coming in at number 8 on my top 10 list is an item that I literally just picked up about 2 or 3 weeks ago. From New York Comic Con 2019, just like the Cabbage Man, we have the Samurai Jack and Aku 2-pack, which was shared with the Funko shop. This had been something that I had been missing since the convention happened in 2019, and I told myself that if I miss it, I'm really not going to beat myself up over it. I actually remember I was in line at FYE getting a few exclusives that morning when the Funko shop dropped all of their exclusives, and honestly, I completely forgot about the Funko shop drop. I was too busy paying or picking out the box condition on my in-person exclusives, and I missed out on this. Flash forward to about 3 weeks ago, I went through my collection and I purged a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't care about and got rid of probably about 200 pops altogether. I brought it up to this comic store that's about 2 hours north of me, and they gave me 80 to 85% of pop price guide, but the only downfall to the deal was that he gave me X in cash and then gave me X in-store credit. So I figured I may as well grab this thing while I saw it, and I actually spent less on this thing than the Funko app has it at right now. Currently, this 2-pack falls at number 8 on my top 10 list with a value of $190, which I'm very lucky that I spent less than that on this. Coming in at number 7 on my top 10 list is an item that has been on my top 10 list since I made this channel. I do this top 10 segment once every summer, and then I like to look back at the lists and see how the values changed and stuff. But this item has been on the top 10 list all 3 years in a row, 2019, 2020, and now 2021. And here we have the 2,500 piece counted blue flocked Scooby-Doo. Now, the long story short on this thing is that it was a San Diego Comic-Con 2017? Yep, San Diego Comic-Con 2017 exclusive, but it was a Fun Days exclusive. You couldn't get this at the Funko booth if you want it. The only way to get your hands on these blue, green, and pink flock Scooby-Doos was to go to this booth outside of the convention center on a Sunday morning, and they had only 2,500 pieces of these in the booth. They didn't sell them anywhere else. It was the only way to get them. I was not at San Diego Comic-Con 2017, so I didn't get it there. But what I did do was trade a Target Bullseye ad icon in probably, I want to say 2018, early 2018, late 2017, when this thing was only valued at about $50. Bullseye was once a grail, believe it or not. It was worth about $75 to $100, and then it got restocked eventually. Bullseye became manufactured more and got more variants, and the value on that original Bullseye ended up crashing at some point, but that was after I already had made the trade. And honestly, I'm surprised it took this pop this long to hit the value that it has. I assume because the pink and green flock Scooby-Doo are 1,000 pieces each, this one is kind of seen as the easy one to get. You know, if I'm not going to be able to get the pink or the green, I guess I'll settle for the blue. But I mean, after 3.5 years of this thing being out, its current value is $200, which is fantastic when you compare that to Bullseye, whose value is $30 right now. So I traded a $30 pop for a $200 pop. Now for number 6 on my top 10 list, we again have a two-way tie. So we're going to have 6A and 6B here. However, 6A, I don't know. I've never known what to make of this thing, so I'll let you guys decide for me down below in the comments. Coming in at number 6A on my top 10 list is the Rush 3-pack. We have Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Pert. This was a Pop Rocks 3-pack that I wanted to get my hands on since they announced it for Canada Expo, and obviously I don't live in Canada, and I didn't know anybody going to the expo, so I couldn't get my hands on it. But it was a pre-release. It wasn't like an official release, and then this ended up getting a worldwide release. It ended up deflating the value, and it crashed. It ended up being worth like $45 at the time. I remember logging this thing into the Funko app at $45. But then unfortunately, about a year and a half ago, Neil Peart sadly passed away, and the value on this and the Comic-Con sticker ended up skyrocketing in price as well. But the Funko app doesn't differentiate between two prices, so I don't know if this really constitutes being part of the top 10 most valuable pops. So it's just kind of interesting for me to see how this is on my top 10 list and falls at number 6A at my top 10 list, coming in at $200. This next one coming in at 6B on my top 10 list, I'm shocked. I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. And I got to back up for this one a little bit. Here we have, coming in at number 6 on my top 10 list, tying at $200, is the Civil War 5-pack. This was a Disney store exclusive back in 2016. 2015. And this is limited to 5,000 pieces. And, like, what is going on? I don't even know how to stand here to properly... I hope this is... This has to be in frame for you guys, right? I don't know. I got this on eBay back in, like, 2017 for, I think, $50 shipped, I want to say. So this retailed for 70 euros, which is about 85 American dollars-ish. I got this on eBay for 50 shipped because it has box damage. I'm not sure if the... light ring will capture it all for you, but as you guys can see, the window is definitely jacked up, has scratches all over it, and then up here in that top corner again, it's kind of dinged up there. The Civil War 5-pack Disney Parks exclusive, Disney Store exclusive, limited to 5,000 pieces, clocking in at $200. Coming in at number 5 of my top 10 most valuable pops, we have the Emerald City Comic-Con Creeper, and this was released in 2017, so about a few months before that Blue Fox Scooby-Doo. Now, this was shared with FYE, and I mean, FYE's got about 2 of them, probably maybe even 1 of them per store. I only have 2 FYEs near me, and at the time, I was working at Panera Bread 4 years ago. My God, so much has changed in 4 years. I was working at Panera Bread 4 years ago, part-time Panera Bread associate. My God. Anyway, memory lane here. I was working at Panera Bread at the time, and I could not get to any of the other FYEs because I was working nowhere near either of them. I actually called my mom because she lives near one of the FYEs, and I was like, Mom, can you go and see if they have this? And she's like, I'm here, and they don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, damn it. So I tweeted, because at the time I had a Twitter, wasn't able to get the Emerald City Comic-Con Creeper hashtag Funko Pop. Some random person replied to me and was like, hey, I actually got 2 of them. If you want to just PayPal me $30 for the cost of the pop and a little extra from my pocket, I'll send it to you. And I said, you know what? Sketchy. I won't do friends and family. I'll do goods and services. Let's go ahead and do it. I sent the money. They tweet back at me and they're like, sorry, my boyfriend doesn't want me to ship it to you. And I said, oh, okay. Well, can I have the money anyway? And she was like, yeah, I'll send the money back. Never got the money back. I tweeted them again, never got the money back, and I'm like, damn, shouldn't have sent $30, but I guess I'll just open up a claim. And then one day there's a box on the door, and here's the Emerald City Comic-Con Creeper. But the Creeper clocks in at number 5 on my top 10 most valuable pops list this year at a value of $230, which is, of course, $200 more than I sent the random girl on Twitter. Coming in at number 4 on my top 10 list is a pop that is just increased in value every time I've looked at it. It's never dipped down. It's never been restocked. It's never been given a reason to go up or down. It's just kind of old, so that's why it keeps going up in value. Here we have the Disney exclusive Syndrome in the purple box. This is one of the original Series 2 pops, which is very generic, very ugly looking, but I love The Incredibles, and this is the only Syndrome pop there is, so that's why it's in my collection. Back before The Incredibles 2 came out, I actually had the original Mr. Incredible and the original Elastigirl. I think the Elastigirl was in Series 4, part of the green box. Maybe that's Series 3, I can't remember. And then I had this guy as well. I love The Incredibles, one of my favorite movies growing up, and I needed to have them for my collection. And like I said at the time, there were the new Incredibles pops, so I had to go out and find some of the older ones. Now, I got this thing on I want to say eBay for about $40 or $45 back when I first started collecting, because it wasn't worth a lot of money, and it's old. That's why all these older Disney Pops go for a lot of money on the secondary market, whether it is the Lotso that goes for $400, the George Sanderson that goes for $100, or Syndrome here, the villain of the first Incredibles movie, which falls at number 4 on my top 10 list with a total value of $240. Coming in at number 3 on my top 10 list is, admittedly enough, one of the Scott Pilgrim Pops that I decided to keep as a part of my collection. Here we have the New York Comic Con exclusive Scott Pilgrim in the Astro Boy t-shirt with the Rickenbacker base, and this is limited to 1,000 pieces. This Scott Pilgrim Pop means a lot to me. It was my logo for a long time, and it is one of 2 Scott Pilgrim items that I decided to keep as a part of my Scott Pilgrim purge. Everything else I sold. I didn't want to keep anything else, but as I was going through and putting all these pops, they were all in stacks at the time. I was taking them all out of the stacks and putting them in these cheap soft protectors for the shop that I sold it to. You know, I'm sitting on the floor looking at them all and kind of just admiring my time with them. And I couldn't find myself parting ways with this one. And it's not the value, it's the sentimental value that I have to it. It was one of my first items I got as a part of the Scott Pilgrim set. This was my logo for a long time when I was Money's Funko Pops, before I was Money's Vault. So I'm going to keep them. And maybe somewhere down the line, I'll decide that I don't need to have this anymore. But for right now, I want to keep it. And that's why it's coming in at number 3 on my top 10 list with a value of, I got to check, I'm sorry guys, Scott Pilgrim with the Astro Boy t-shirt, NYCC 2016 exclusive, coming in number 3 on my top 10 list with a value of $350. Coming in at number 2 on my top 10 list is the other Scott Pilgrim item that I kept, and that is the Sex Bomb 3-pack from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. This is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive 2016, and I'm keeping this because I have a lot of sentimental value to it. I just had started collecting when San Diego Comic-Con 2016 started happening, so this was the first convention item I ever got outside of the Patriotic Snoopy, which was stupid for me to get in the first place, but this is one that I'll forever keep, one of my favorite items in my collection, and it clocks in at number 2 on my top 10 list with a value of $380, which has been increasing slightly. This set around $250 for a very long time, and then over the course of the last year or so, it's slowly been creeping up little by little. I imagine it'll hit $400 at some point, but I really don't think it'll go any higher than that. And then that brings us to NumberOne. We've seen so many different grails from so many different lines: Scott Pilgrim, Scooby-Doo, Avatar, cartoons, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Even as a runner-up. There's been a lot of awesome stuff that really represents my collecting habits and the lines that I love to collect. But there is nothing more fitting of my personal interest in my collection than my #1 most valuable item in my collection. Coming in at number 1 on my top 10 list for the second year in a row is the Fugitive Toys exclusive Parks and Recreation Andy Dwyer in the Mouse Rat t-shirt, limited to 500 pieces. And this is my biggest grail in my collection, and I can't believe that I finally own this thing. About this time last summer, when I was a part of the Funko Collector Society, this great person that I met through the collection group, Mark over at Stop, Pop, and Roll, had reached out to me and said, "Hey, Money, I recently bought a bunch of pops, and this Mouse Rat Andy was a part of that." This was worth about $400 at the time of making my top 10 video last year. And at the time of that conversation, this was worth about $400, and I hit him back and I was like, "Hey man, you know, I really appreciate you thinking of me, but you know, $400 isn't practical for me to drop on a pop right now, but thank you so much for hitting me up and for thinking of me." And he was like, "Well, if you have anything that you'd want to trade, like, I'd be more than happy to trade, like, you know, 10 or 15 pops for this thing if they're of good value." And I said, "Okay, well, let me go through some stuff and then I'll hit you back up." And that was kind of the catalyst. It was right after the Metallic Toucan Sam had come out, and I was like, you know what, I'm done with ad icons. I don't want any of these anymore. And I looked at my ad icon collection and I said, you know what, I think this is the time to get rid of my ad icons. So I got rid of my Flock Tricks Rabbit, my Tony the Tiger, my Lucky the Leprechaun, just a bunch of stuff that I did not want anymore. And Mark came through and traded me this for all of those ad icons. And I mean, I've never been more happy with the trade. Even though I let go of so many things that I liked at the time, I never looked back at it, and getting rid of ad icons was one of the best decisions I've ever made during collecting. Andy Dwyer in the Mouse Rat t-shirt is worth a whopping $720 at the time of making this video, clocking him in at number 1 on my top 10 most valuable pops of 2021. And that brings us to the end of my most valuable pops of 2021. Thank you so much for making it so far to the end of this video. I know this was kind of a long one, so I appreciate you all sticking around. If you haven't subscribed, please consider it. It helps the channel grow, helps me make more content for you all watching at home. And I want to hear from you down below in the comments. What did you think of my top 10 most valuable pops? You think any of them are going to keep going up? Think any of them are going to crash in price eventually? And don't forget to let me know down below in the comments what your most valuable pops are, and do we share any of the same items? And as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to collect what you love, even when what you love is something that you have to send a stranger on Twitter money for. And as always, I'll see you soon.